Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Hello, and today I am joined by Nell Fallcard here.
Hi.
So you might have seen her in one of my last YouTube videos. I think it was like, must have been this time last year actually. Yeah, it's quite a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Man, I really
So you
did.
can check that out, and you check her work out here at Nell Fallcard deviantart.com. So you can go check out her work if you like. But yeah, today I'm doing a study, so this is me just doing some painting of some studies at the moment, because I felt that I needed to... Do you have my Twitch muted? So I can hear myself.
The
Yeah, anyway, so I'm doing these studies because I felt like I needed some more improvement in it, and at the end of these studies, I felt like I still need improvement. So it's something that I felt it was just practice for me. It's not like here's pretty pictures of materials for you to see. It's more like, these are me. This is me studying. This is like me opening my journals to you guys. What I kind of draw um, to improve my art, kind of a thing. This is more like a video where I show something that I don't show everyone in the world, but I am now, kind of thing. Yeah, so now Falcard, you're starting to do a lot of YouTube videos now, I notice.
I only got 3 of them,
So yeah,
but yeah. Well, they are they are time lapses of my latest
mm,
paintings, and those paintings take an approximately of 10 hours to
yeah,
15 hours to
oh
make.
yeah, yeah,
So, so yeah, and obviously I also got my day-to-day job and
hmm,
other things to do. So obviously one of those paintings gets done in almost a week because
oh
I
yeah,
just work like around 2 hours maximum
yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, fair
So
enough, yeah,
so yeah, it's getting slow but getting there. Yeah, it's sort of cathartic exercise for me. I'm not exactly searching for getting a career as a YouTuber. I think that
yeah,
is it's pretty late for that
yeah,
already.
yeah,
It's kind of like just letting it out there and see what happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
really cool. I enjoy watching them. I'm hoping you do them quite regularly, like every 2 weeks or weeks, wherever you do it. But it's really awesome. Um,
thank you.
yeah, so you guys can go check that out at Nell Fallcard's channel. So that'll be awesome. I might put a link. I'll put a link down to your YouTube down in the description for people that watch this on YouTube. Because I stream to
Oh, thank
Twitch,
you.
and then it goes straight to YouTube after somewhat, a couple of hours later because there's a bit of editing. Um,
Mm,
but yeah,
mm.
in these kind of things, you run into issues like I've been annoyed with this like background sound that's been happening when I'm recording.
Tell me
Um,
about it. I mean,
yeah,
when I
so
when I was doing my videos, I spent like an hour just editing out the p
yeah,
or the it's like all those sounds that are really annoying, and it's like, oh my God.
yeah.
Yes, I need to buy this sort of breather
Mm.
thingy. I'm not exactly sure if it is coming across on your recording. I'm sorry for ringing it if it is. But
Well, it's all good.
yeah.
Each video, brings something to the table, kind of a thing. And there's, I run into every issue in the book. There's like people I talk to, their conversations cut out. Every issue you can think of, I've had, and I kind of feel like it can be a good thing too, because it's like yeah, I know now how to deal with those kind of situations, and yeah, it's just a whole learning curve. I mean,
Ah, yes.
I'm getting some new headphones to see if that will help in trying to get rid of this annoying sound in my videos. Um, if that doesn't work, then I might try a maybe more expensive kind of a mic thing setup. Um,
Mm.
Otherwise, it's just definitely my computer needs replacing, and I'm like, oh no. But it's been like 6 years since I've had the computer, so
Mm.
yeah, I'd say it.
It's
I
quite
need
a
a.
warrior.
It's a warrior, right? Yeah. Um, back in those days, it was the most like powerful computer. But these days, it's probably not. Um,
Oh, yeah, I totally know what you mean. You had a computer, and actually, I really, really felt for that computer when I kind of like retired it because it still worked. And it was also very computer for its day, but I started having problems with drivers and
mm,
stuff like that, and programs that no longer wanted to work because it was Windows 7
yeah, yeah.
and everything is like not done for that program anymore. So
Mm,
yeah, I had to upgrade. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's still cracking.
Mm.
It's still cracking. So there you go. I mean, enjoy your dear computer as much as you can. Has been with you all those years.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it's been there and I've used it quite a bit for things. So
mm,
it's, now that I'm into like a lot of digital these days, it's definitely letting me still do that. Um,
mm,
it'll be a challenge, soon. If I get a new computer, I have to
mm,
get Creative Cloud and, all that stuff. So, yeah, it would be
mm.
good to use as
Are
well.
you entering the Inktober?
Yeah, I am like I'm doing Inktober, um, as my own like personal thing. I try and do it
Mm,
every year. Um, so this year I'm doing people, like character people, human characters. Um, and because I'm working, I don't have reference with me, so I have to draw it without reference. Um, and that's what I'm trying to improve on, like trying not to use so much reference as well, like being able to draw um, with my imagination. Um,
mm.
and since it's such a hard topic for me, I'm not a big human anatomy person. Yeah, it is. It's gonna,
Yeah. Do you
yeah.
have
So,
this and do you have this sort of exercise when you kind of like use a reference and then take away the reference and try to repeat the portrait but without the reference? So
mm,
I think it's called regurgitation or something like that.
oh, okay.
And yeah, it's you just first you take a
Mm,
reference, make the painting, then take another reference, make another
mm,
painting, and then you make a character in between those two references, but without
mm.
seeing them anymore.
Yeah, I know what you're
So,
talking about. I think it's oh, I can't remember the name of it now. I think it's, oh, I don't want to say irritative, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's I've seen that process. I think what's his name does it. If I can remember his name, I can tell you about it. I think it's
mm,
iterative drawing. Um,
hmm
yeah, it's a cool process. Um, and I've
I
done
have
it.
never tried it.
He's actually got like this guy has a whole book on it, where
Oh,
yeah, you can check out the book if I can find it. Um, iterative drawing book. He goes through the whole human anatomy, so he'll get you to draw an ear. So you draw the ear, you draw it with the reference, then you draw it without the reference, and you just keep
mm,
repeating the process. And yeah, it just shows you that you can get better and better and better, and it's awesome to do. And he gradually, like, you go through different parts. You go through the nose, you go through the eyes, ears, then you go through the whole face drawing, and then you go through, you know, different parts of the body, then you go to the full body kind of a thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I try all sorts of different exercises. Like here I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
studies for textures. It's definitely one thing that, you know, I still feel like textures is a big thing that I struggle with too, like trying to portray textures. Um,
Yeah, I think it's a matter of observation,
hmm,
and I definitely think that it's difficult to translate. You know, sometimes, by example, what you're doing now, you're doing cubes,
mm,
and you have different textures, and one of your references are circular, some
mm,
others are tubular, some others are like you know, like flat clothes,
mm,
and translate the shape, the three-dimensional shape from a cylinder to a square
mm,
sometimes is, I mean, if you don't have the exact reference of the texture over a square, and if you haven't seen it before, I think it's a little bit tricky to know where the folds go
mm,
and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's important to make that exercise. It's not only how the texture is going to grab the new three-dimensional space that you've got, it's also how the light is going to interact with it.
mm,
And
definitely.
sometimes, yeah, trying to figure out in your head how it's going to look like is it's tricky. It's tricky. You're a brave man.
Yeah, I mean, I just do it because, you know, I'm like, I need to improve on this because um I've done a piece, like a few pieces before that's required some of this texture. So I'm doing chainmail right there. I've got
Mm.
I haven't used mini copper, but I tried to attempt copper there. I go back and improve this later in the video, but um, yeah, different metals. So I've got copper, metal, um, it's that leather, um,
Mm.
jean material. Then I've got chainmail, which is one of those tricky ones.
Oh yes,
Like,
it's because of the circles.
yeah,
Yeah, the when
it's
they are
really
top view. Yeah, when they are at the top view, I think they are more like ellipses,
mm,
and when it's front view, it's more circular.
mm,
And yes, yeah, to make that change, especially on the folds, that is that is fun.
mm. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, and obviously you've got to deal with a lot of things with chainmail as well. Like you can't just you can use brushes, but you can't just be like, here's a brush for chainmail and use it because you know it's got to like fold around the arm or fold around the legs and things as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so obviously you're saying about, you know, how I'm putting these textures into boxes, which is very, you know, very difficult because, you know, there isn't exactly a box made out of chainmail out there. You know, it's not
Mm.
physically possible. I just tried to kind of make it look like maybe the box was surrounded by chainmail, possibly, kind of a thing.
Mm.
And you see so many people do attempts at these things, like, you know, they do it in different ways, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but chainmail specifically. I mean, I know a guy who loves to do chainmail in basically like 9 out of 10 illustrations that he makes, and he makes, you know, ring by ring, and I'm like, oh my God, this, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, you know what, this is kind of like relaxing,
Mm, yeah.
and Yeah, I can understand that part, but at the same time, I just see all this perfectly rendered chainmail, like ring by ring,
Mm.
and I think on all the possible things that I could have been doing with that time. but,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yeah, I mean, is the price for a good illustration, I guess.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, and
yeah. It does depend on like how kind of finished you want it to look. Like if you're doing this as concept art, or
mhm.
if you're doing it as like a really pretty picture kind of a thing, finished
Oh yeah,
illustration.
yeah.
That's
If it's concept art, you can get away with the brush.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Um, but yeah,
But if it's high-end illustration,
mm,
yeah, we're getting a little bit delayed in here, isn't it?
well, that's all good. They have to deal with delay sometimes. Yeah, it's all good. Um, yeah, I feel chainmail though, like, um, you can approach it in a very structured way, or you can just try and like, try and make it look like chainmail kind of a thing, and which is interesting. I was doing a Bobby Chill course, and he was showing me how to paint fur, and
Hmm.
it was interesting. It was like he goes at like a very like chill way, like just put a few strokes here and a few strokes there and a little bit of editing on top and voila, there's your fur and you're like, I've spent like years on just slowly like trying to, like the guy with the chainmail trying to like, just do fur like, straight like that with all the little tiny details. And here's him just doing it with a few strokes here and there, and it looks amazing. Um,
Oh yeah, I know what it is.
mm,
I remember that I asked Nathan Folks about this. That he came to
mm,
here like last year actually, and he had this workshop, and he's a guy who can do that. I mean, with 3 strokes, he already gave the illusion of something.
mm,
So I asked him, it's like, hey, how do you do so you can convey, shapes and textures with this, with this ease?
mm,
Because just as you are saying, I mean, for me, it takes like 50, 100 strokes in order
mm,
to get something done, and yours is kind of like so minimalistic in a sense, but yet still realistic. And he said that there is an interesting exercise that you can do, which is let try to make something with a budget of 20 strokes.
mm,
Whatever you want to do is like your budget is 20 strokes.
mm,
And with that you're going to make that thing that you're going to make.
mm.
And then when you run out of the 20 strokes, if you didn't make it, you do it again, and then you do it again until it
Ah,
takes shapes. So it's like, oh, that's interesting.
cool.
And
Yep.
yeah, it's training your brain and your eyes to look for the essentials and
Mm.
to just paint that. So yeah, that's good advice. Indeed, it's good advice. I mean, I'm not perfect at it yet,
Mm.
but I try to apply it, and yeah, I mean, it kind of helped me improve in that sense.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I don't think anyone's gonna get perfect at it. There's you can get like perfect at one individual thing. Like I don't know, maybe like the guy doing chainmail, he might get like real perfect at doing chainmail. Um, but if something else comes up like jeans or thing, he might not be as perfect as you can't be perfect at everything, and yeah, you just gotta.
Yes.
It's just understanding. For me, it's understanding what you lack at and then improving on that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like a good exercise, using less strokes,
Mm-hmm.
because that would save you time if you really understand the texture and you can create it with as less time as possible, you
Mm-hmm.
can obviously you can get more done because you won't be spending 100 hours on trying to render the texture right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, sometimes it's just a silhouette. It kind of like gives a illusion.
hmm.
Is what I have seen in a lot of paintings that are not exactly realistic, but they are more like this new color arts style. Not exactly the one of the cartoons, but from the people who are studying there, which is like very synthetic but very expressive at the same time.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's what makes it kind of like be special. I mean, the sense of dynamism and the sense of synthesis in a way. I mean, they are really good at telling a lot with just a couple of shapes, couple of strokes, and that's really cool. Yes.
But yeah, it would have taken them a lot of hard work to get there too, I reckon.
No, yes, plenty practice.
Yeah. Like I bet you the first time they try to do it with 20 strokes, they would have really struggled.
Yeah. It's a matter of practice, like everything, I guess. And also deliberate practice. So you know what you're. It's not exactly about doing the same thing several times, but to really focus on what you want to learn,
Hmm.
and yeah, like try to develop exactly the skill that you want to develop. And yeah, that's the way to go, I've heard. Yeah, I'm still in this learning as well, so.
Yeah. I think, we all are. Any level, we're still learning things.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
you know, it's interesting. I mean, I've been, doing this at a professional level per se, at a more full-time kind of thing for the last like 6 years or so. Um,
Mm.
and I'm just excited to see where I get to in another 4 years' time. Um, that'll be my 10 years.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
usually the magical 10 years. Um, there's so many artists I hear, by their 10 years, they're in the industry. Um,
Mm.
but it's a
Do,
whole.
do you, what are your plans for your career in terms of creative endeavors? I mean, do you want to end up working for a studio, or do you want to create your own stuff, or video games, movies? Exactly, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Um, I really like quite a few things, which is interesting. Um, so I really would love to, I'm creating a children's book at the moment. Um,
Mm.
so I would like to, have that published in the next 3 years as well. I've had one book in the past, but that hasn't been published yet. So,
Mm.
get 2 books published, that would be awesome. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I'd love to work for a studio as well, like help out in character design and creature design. Um,
Mm.
it'd be awesome.
Mhm.
I started out like wanting to work for somewhere like Square Enix. Um,
Wow, that's perfect. Yes. I
um,
mean, that's ambitious.
it,
Can
it,
be down. I
yeah,
mean,
but times change, and I feel like that changes your goals too. Like, um, the main reason I wanted to be Square Enix is because of the like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts.
oh yes.
I can see myself creating the creatures or um, you know, some of the characters that are in it. Um, you can really see myself trying to create things like that. Um,
Ah, yes.
yeah, I.
Yeah, it's definitely
Mm,
a franchise you want to step in. I mean, I think it's a dream of so many people. Mm.
yeah. But I've seen a lot of awesome studios and things that I'd like to um, give my 2 cents into, you know?
Oh yeah. Maybe you can create your own new Square Enix.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
your own IPs become the new Final Fantasy.
Mm. I think
Loves it.
for me, definitely, um, I enjoy doing my own stuff versus doing things for studios. Um,
Oh yes. I'm
so
with you in there.
yeah,
Definitely.
so definitely in the next like 3, 4 years or whatever, um, I would see myself more trying to create my own IPs and things. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
I would love to just be able to, you know, be happy in what I'm doing, like or like illustration being my 9 to 5. Um, that at the moment is
Yeah.
my dream goal. Um, and then we'll see.
That's great.
Yeah, we'll see from
Oh,
it there.
fantastic.
Hmm. How about you?
And um, that's interesting actually because I have been even considering a change of career, but it's I think it's a little bit too late for that because I'm not very good with learning curves,
Okay.
especially when it's a change that is so radical.
Hmm.
So yeah, I kind of discovered way too late that I like math.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but I think I am a little bit naive on that concept as well because I don't have notions of hard math. Is what I like and what I can do is kind of like very limited.
Hmm.
So I was thinking, okay, maybe trying like physics or something like that, but I think it's a little bit late for me to start that because I no longer have the patience. Yes, I'm so used to do what I do and for it to be easy that trying to learn something new is a little bit frustrating
Hmm.
my end. And the older you get, the less tolerable to frustration you become. And I like painting. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I can make a living out of it. So I'm
Hmm.
kind of like sticking around. But yeah, I also would love to do my own IP. I actually started writing a book that has 3 stories in it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to finish the second one. I'm
Awesome.
starting the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Cool.
yeah, sometimes I struggle not exactly finding the time, but yet finding not the inspiration, but yes the way how to describe certain things.
Hmm.
So it's like I don't know if that this happens to you. It's like okay, I have this idea, but for some reason it's not coming across as I want for it to come,
Hmm.
and that's kind of like frustrating in a sense.
No.
But
Yeah, I deal with that issue like sometimes as well. It's just how it goes. Like with even with my Inktober's, I have all these ideas for things, and I'd like it to look like how it looks on my head. Um,
oh yeah.
but I just can't get it out, and it's sometimes it's down to I've only got like probably an hour in a day, all up to kind of finish it. Um, Other times it's just because I'm not exactly at that level yet, you know, kind of a thing. Um,
hmm
yeah, so it's a bit
Yeah.
of a struggle. I've seen your Inktober's and they're looking amazing. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you so much. You know what? Actually, my Inktovers are a sort of procrastination because I should be doing other things,
Yeah.
but I am a coward, a massive coward on doing those things. That I'm kind of like, oh yeah, well, I'm have to do Inktober, yeah, But it's like, no, you don't have to do Inktober. You're doing Inktober just to avoid doing these things that you should be doing. And yeah, and that's what happens. I mean, I wanted to learn 3D
Hmm.
because of this IP that I'm telling you. It kind of like requires certain specific scenarios that
Yeah.
are going to be repeating all the
Hmm.
time. So for me, it will be useful to actually model them
Hmm.
and
Definitely. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
in order to have several views of them and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But yes, of course, that involves, learning a new skill, and I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I'm
It.
terrible with frustration.
Hmm.
That's bad. I mean, it's something that I really need to face on. And I'm doing Inktober instead.
Hmm.
But it's good. I mean, it's relaxing.
Awesome. It's
Yeah.
just your fun time kind of a thing, eh? Which,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Some people are like, "Oh, Inktober is something you can do." That's like, um, you know, it gives you kind of guidance of what to draw, kind of a thing. Um, you don't have to be like trying to come up with heaps of ideas, kind of a thing, and stressing out how to make and how to draw ideas. You just kind of have fun and create what you want with those words, those prompts that you use. Um,
Oh, yeah.
it's just fun time, and I use it, um, yeah, as a way to have fun drawing. That's more focused. It's I've got the words that I can use, and I can come up with ideas of what I want those words to look like. Um, and then the challenge of it, the subject that I chose is very challenging for me. I mean, I'm not looking at having great Inktober drawings. I'm looking at from from day one compared to day 31. Day 31 will look way better than day one. That's my goal, for Inktober.
That's a great goal. That's a great goal, and actually is a goal that I'm struggling to achieve. Is I look at my introverts and I just see them going worse and worse and worse. It's like, oh man, yeah, it's like the first day you start like with all this energy, and then
Yeah.
yeah, I have this problem. I really admire people who don't have this problem and who are actually improving because there are plenty of cases like that. It's not mine, unfortunately. I'm just like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do this
Mm.
anymore. But I have to because I need to get something done. It's training discipline, yes.
Mm.
And yet still, I mean, sometimes I don't know. I mean, today's one probably is going to be quite rushed
Mm.
because I spent my whole morning fighting with the bank, so I didn't have time to do anything, so I have to do it after this call.
Yeah. There's
And
yeah. There's
sorry?
there's always something that comes up, like something
Yeah, yeah.
unexpected, and it takes away time from what you want to do sometimes. Um, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and this is stuff that you can't really, delay because
Mm.
I mean, I have to eat, and in order to eat, I need to have money, and in order to
Mm.
have money, I need to set things straight with my bank. Oh my God. Do
Yeah.
you have bank problems over there? I mean, it's like, is your service as crappy as there is in third world countries like mine?
Um, I mean, I've heard of some stories and things that, there are some bad problems. I mean, myself, I haven't had a lot of issues, really. Um,
That's good.
but yeah, there are a lot of things like scams and um, issues that happen with banks. Yeah, but I'm lucky because, at the moment I haven't had any like scams or people stealing money or anything like that. Um,
And that's great.
which is good. But yeah, I don't know if it's as bad as there or. Oh,
Mm.
I'm pretty happy
Here
with
is
it.
just
It's
yeah,
probably.
here is just kind of like bureaucracy and things kind of like going wrong in a sense. I mean, I went there just to get some cash from the cash machine, and suddenly they said, "Oh, you can't perform this operation." I went to another cash machine. You can't perform this operation. Hey, what's going on? I go to the cashier to talk to an actual human being, and then they said, "Oh, apparently your card is blocked, and we have no idea why. So you can't use it at all." And I was
Mm,
like, "What?" So they basically just destroyed my card in front of me at that
mm,
exact moment and gave me another. But apparently the other one is blocked, so I can't use it either because the previous one was blocked. So they had to.
jeez.
have no idea what is going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Dang.
this is still ongoing. So
Yeah,
yes,
most
cross
definitely.
fingers for me. I'm
Yeah,
gonna need your thoughts and prayers.
yeah. Hopefully it goes good, eh? Yeah. I've had
Okay.
things like lose my bank card and then had to ring up and then it was like I didn't get a new card for a couple of like a week or two or something and uh, some issues here and there but not that horrendous. Um,
Mm-hmm.
luckily, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully everything is going to probably just the card got like I don't know, maybe the chip got hit or wet or something.
Hmm.
No idea. But, well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Often my card doesn't work. And it's like, oh,
Really?
it's and it plays up. I mean, I've had it. It's got to be replaced, and then this year sometime. I think it's like next month it gets replaced. Um, 3 4 years, so it's starting to fall apart. You know, they do that after a while of being in your wallet. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have so many cards in my wallet. You know, you have your coffee cards. Um,
Oh, yes.
A thing I enjoy is bubble tea. Um, I don't know if you've
Ah,
heard
bubble
bubble tea.
tea.
Yeah,
It's
bubble tea
fantastic.
is
Yes, we
awesome.
got bubble tea.
Yeah.
Yes, it is fantastic. I actually got addicted to bubble tea when I was living in London. I lived in London for 2 years, and I knew bubble tea back then because in
mm,
here there are not many places that has it.
mm.
Nowadays there are, but back in the day there wasn't as many.
No, no,
And yeah, bubble tea is fantastic.
no. Like a
But
few. Yeah.
how do you have it over there? Do you have like several flavors, or do you have like a specific flavor?
Oh, there's heaps. Hey, like we've got this place we go to, and it's got like 20 flavors on
Mm.
each. So they have so they have a milk one and then they have a fruit one. Um, the milk ones are good. Like they have like mango, flavors like lychee and coffee and mochaccino flavors and chocolate, Belgian
Mm-hmm.
chocolate, like all these flavors. But for milky ones, for me, if I drink like a lot of it, I start getting like a bit of a sore stomach. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh.
But they're good, but I just don't like getting the large ones. I'll just get a medium one of the fruit for the
Mm-hmm.
milk flavors. For the fruit flavors, there's like orange, there's still mango, and there's rock melon. There's like heaps of awesome good flavors that I like. Cranberry, which is cranberry is quite sweet, you know. Um, and instead of like usually you get the bubble balls in there. They
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Sometimes you can get those changed as well for like different things. Um, so yeah. So you can see here that I these are kind of what I've ended up with. So I've got my copper, my
Mm-hmm.
metal, my leather, elastic pants, chainmail, and jeans. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's just kind of practice for me. There's a lot of issues I can see, like just staring at it now, that I'm like, I really want to go back and do like finish this off kind of a thing. But I just move on and I'll attempt it again one day, kind of a thing. Like this exercise for next time, come up with a character that requires jeans or leather or metal. I can be like, sweet, I kind of understand how this works, and then I can use reference a bit further and try and take it a bit further.
Great.
Yeah, I've seen. So Nell's done this pretty cool penguin here. She's done lately. It's just really cool.
Oh, you saw my penguin.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, you have really good texture on the penguin, which is really cool.
Oh, yeah. People ask me about, not about that one, they asked me about Bosset actually. That how did I make the hair texture? And it's a combination of 4 brushes. So it's the round one, the flat one, just to kind of like block where it's going to be light and shadow. And then there is another one that is several dots. And when you paint a strike, it's kind of like several hairs at the same time.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Then I have another one that is a smudge one. That one I actually used before the ones from the hairs. So basically, after blocking lights and shadows, you can like smudge them, so it looks like a soft transition between light and dark. And then over that, you paint with a brush that is several strikes that resemble hairs. And then the same round flat one, just on a small radius for individual hairs.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look that repetitive.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
It sounds exactly like kind of, in a way, how Bobbiteo does it is that he, he'll, wear the shaders for the different hairs, and he'll just put like watch way the hair goes, like just big giant strokes of watch way the hair goes, and then on top of that he does the little tiny fine details on top. And it's just like, it's not like 1,000 tiny little details, it's just like a few little details just to give it that, that finished realism look kind of a thing. Because that's another thing, is like with texture, you don't want it to look over textured where, where it hits the dark areas or something, or if it's fading into the distance kind of a thing. If it's over textured in the distance, it's not gonna look right.
Yeah, it's kind of like it kills the depth, because things at when are really far away in the distance, they lose texture, and they lose also the shadows. The shadows stop being black and start being either grayish or bluish, depends on your atmosphere. But yeah, I mean, it's like the farther in the distance something is, the less darks you're going to have in there. Whites, they remain the same, but darks, they become more subtle.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that I'm still challenged with. Like, I want to detail everything, but it's just like I've got to. I'm still learning how to create that depth and things like that.
It's a matter of budget. Just budget your texture. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, that's actually one of the things that I got recommended by this guy. I don't know if you have seen his work. His name is Eben Mel Amundsen. He's a guy from. He worked on Blizzards. On Blizzard at a certain point. Does things for Magic as well. He has a lot of stuff, and yeah, he said it's like when you're doing an illustration, you try to focus on your focal point. Choose an area in your illustration where you want people to look at, and all the detail is going to be there. And then think about a teardrop. Like when a teardrop falls, it's like creates ripples. So when it falls, it will be 100% detail, and as long as it goes expanding, it's going to be less detail, less detail, less detail, less detail. So it can like helps also your audience to focus on the area that you consider is important for them to look. Yeah, I think it's solid advice. I mean, I have been following it, and sometimes I kind of forget, but yeah, I mean, when I respect that rule, I notice that my images are more successful.
Yeah. It just, yeah, it's remembering those fundamentals that really help. Awesome. Yeah, that's been today. We've been talking about a lot about textures, creating textures, and other topics as well. So that's been our video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. Anything you'd like to say now?
Well, keep on practicing. If you are listening to us, you're probably interested on painting or an illustration, and everything is about practice and fundamentals. And thank you for listening to us and for giving us a little bit of your time. Hope that this has been enlightening. And yeah.
Awesome.
That's
yep. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Now, it's been awesome.
Thank you, Daniel, for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Yeah, so, yeah, enjoy these videos. Hopefully, you check out her other video and all the videos I've got. We do this every week, hopefully, and yeah, look forward to seeing you next time. Keep drawing and keep creating. Goodbye.